Welcome back to Tran wins Baldur's Gate 3. Today we're going to tie up many loose ends, basically talking to all the NPCs we've left neglected, including our companion NPCs.
I'm told the druids have stopped their damn chanting. What happened?
I have installed multiple immersive UI mods by Aether. One was the party mod, another one was the minimap mod, another one was the message log mod, and the biggest one was the action mod. There is one that I was really hesitant to do, so it's the dialogue panel mod. I don't like that it shoves the trade and attack windows to the side over here. I actually use the conversation window for my thumbnails a lot of times, and moving these things around is inconvenient. Plus, I don't like that it's just standing in the way of our characters more than it would be if it were down here. But at least I do get rid of 3 buttons, so I get 2 more prominent buttons and 3 less prominent buttons. Korga's dead.
Truly. I'm sorry it had to come to this, but she left us with no choice. Thank you. We still have the goblins to contend with, but you've given us time to prepare. I'll ensure my people make the most of it. It pains me that I have nothing to give you in thanks. If you can clear the road of goblins, as you say, I'll ensure a reward is gathered for you. Yes?
Want to discuss something else.
What is it?
Halsin's alive. He's being held captive by goblins.
Gods above. This is wonderful news, but I've seen what goblins do to their captives. I wish we could ride to his rescue, but my people would just wind up slaughtered along with him. I'll pray for him. So long as the goblins hold the roads, I'm afraid it's all we can do. Just Zevlor, Tilly. We're civilians now, remember?
With respect, sir, being a Hellrider is...
I had a feeling you'd be back.
Happy to help.
And we're happy to be helped. Now, what can I do for you?
Thought you might need help with something.
I do, as a matter of fact. Revenge. You saw what those bastards that run the place were doing to Arabella, scaring the precious mite. I want to steal that big, shiny idol they're all chanting at.
An idol? What do you do with something like that?
The important thing is to get it away from them. That ritual's gonna get us all killed. And we can sell it once we get to the city. Thing like that's gotta be worth a small fortune.
I can help you get it, but my time's valuable.
Sure. When we sell it in the city, I'll make sure you get your cut.
I'll see what I can do.
Be careful. They look as brittle as old bark. But they're vicious. Anything else?
The idol's all yours.
Thanks. See you in Baldur's Gate, I hope. Now scram. Before I get emotional.
We gave the sacred idol to Mole. She promised to repay us in Baldur's Gate, and we get the +1 ring of protection, armor class, and saving throw. Now we'll just go ahead and walk off with it. Normally I would go ahead and steal it, but just for keeping the video moving smoothly so I don't have to load in case I fail,
I had a feeling you'd be back.
we're just going to go ahead and trade it off of her. There you go.
You've been a friend to us. Come back anytime.
Yeah. When we were in Grimforge, we also rescued the gnomes that Thulla had asked us about. These are the gnomes that Nair had as slaves.
The Myconids are trying to help, but I keep seeing my friends in Moonrise screaming.
Ripple bark could sustain an entire village if seen. Thanks again for offing that drow. Only made it here because of you. But I can't stop thinking about the rest of us. Stuck in Moonrise with a bunch of sadists. Poor bastards.
Iron Hand keep us safe. You saved my skin, but there's more bastards out there. For everyone you kill, pint on me.
At least they're peaceful.
No need for me to ask how you fared. Some of my kin have already made it here, safe and sound. It's past time we were back in the city. But if you find yourself there, call on us. The Iron Hand Gnomes are good friends to have.
Your leader is still locked up in Moonrise Towers.
I heard about Wulbren. But the cause is bigger than any one of us. You've made sure his work is done, even if he's not there to see it. He'd be grateful.
Long bug. Our work is bigger than...
A little more rest and I'll be ready to get out of here.
Circle Glut is eternal.
Depending on how you answer Glut here, he may tell you to leave and never come back, though I don't think it actually matters. I've brought you Near's head.
As commanded. A capable servant you have made, Kingbringer. You have earned my favor. Once I sang to you of home. Look now on Glut's domain, and tell me what you see.
The same as before. One sovereign or the other, it doesn't matter.
Do not feign understanding of the Circle's melody. You were a useful servant. Your service is done. You have received your payment. Now go. This Circle sings only the song of Glut. You are discord.
And it may seem like he has dismissed us forever, but even if we talk to him, he has the same dialogue. Sovereign Glut rewarded us for delivering Near's head. You get the Champion's Chain, which allows me to once a day cast Tyrant's Tongue, which is something like a plus... What is it? +2 bonus to intimidation checks. Wow. It only lasts for 10 turns, too. Then he also puts Near's head on a pedestal here,
Same as us.
which you can pick up and he doesn't seem to care too much about.
Circle Glut is eternal.
As you see, that there's really no special dialogue whatsoever. Keeping O instead of I. Here's the Blooming Drow's head. A forest of mushrooms sprout from Near's skin, eyes, and open mouth, cheerily feeding on clotted blood. Okay, let's head back to camp then. Let's talk to Barcus, since he's been waiting a while.
I thank you for the invitation to your camp. It's, well appointed, not too crowded, perfect for thinking. And I've been doing just that.
Have you now? What about?
It's about Wulbren. We know he's been taken to Moonrise Towers, and we know I'm going to save him. The problem is this. A preponderance of evidence that I am a terrible adventurer. I'm not sure I should trust Wulbren's fate to, well, me.
Your friend can likely take care of himself.
If only that were true. Wulbren's a good sort, but he wouldn't know his Archaeus from his elbow. I'm hesitant to prevail upon you again, but I can't risk recapture. I'd be no help to Wulbren at all. Would you look for him?
I'll let you know if I hear anything. No more, no less.
That's very decent of you. Thank you. There's something else you should know. Something I can no longer ignore. I know you've learned about the gnome's pursuit of rune powder, but do you know what it truly is?
I have a feeling you're about to tell me.
A telepath. Until very recently, I thought rune powder was a myth. A substance so powerful it could fell a city. A nation. The Iron Hand gnomes have proven the impossible. Rune powder is real. and they have it in their possession.
Where have they taken it?
To Baldur's Gate, I expect. I don't know what they plan to do with it, but something of that power turned loose in the city. It could be carnage. Wulbren must know their plans, and we must find him.
I don't work for free. Make me an offer.
Find Wulbren, and you can have anything it is within my power to give.
Surprise me, but make it good.
Ah, ha, ha. I know just the thing. You find Wulbren, and I'll gather the necessary implements. Trust me, you won't be disappointed.
What can you tell me about Moonrise Towers?
I haven't been there myself. The area around it is, well, cursed. Terrifyingly so. I did hear something interesting, though. There are shades that plague the path to the towers. Shades that fear not steel, but light. Dwergar, who mentioned it, sounded truly traumatized. It was almost amusing.
There's something else I'd like to discuss.
Like what?
Your smoke powder bombs. Are you an alchemist?
Alchemist? Tinkerer? Adventurer? Curmudgeon? I wear many hats. Most with great enthusiasm. Thank you for noticing.
Tell me a little more about yourself.
Barcus Wroot is my name. Baldur's Gate is my home. Back in the city, I offered my expertise to the highest bidder. I was quite popular, too. I'm not picky about my customers.
And what will you do if Wulbren is dead?
I suppose I'd be very, very sad. Then, after a while, I'd find whoever killed him and put a smoke powder bomb in their trousers.
I guess I'm not wearing pants anymore. All right, for this next one, you want to have Will next to him, next to Volo, if you want to get Will's inspiration. Where he is now in the cave camp is not close enough. In the regular wilderness camp, the very first camp that you can access, that is close enough, because he's basically right in front of Will. We're going to go ahead and select Will and try to get him close enough as we speak.
All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have.
Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much. I was just settling in and reviewing my latest findings. Mind flayers, cultists, and, of course, your esteemed company.
Let's go and switch back to Will real quick and continue the dialogue.
One move ahead.
Leave. Now we get it. Volo has decided to remain, can't read this, in the camp, I guess. Having such a learned scholar nearby might be useful. And then we receive the Blazer of Benevolence. When you inspire an ally using Bardic Inspiration, you gain 4 temporary hit points. And Gale can eat it. Okay, as far as Volo is concerned, for my playthrough, I think we're going to not tell him our secret, because I want him to stay in our camp. If you tell him the secret, he leaves. Now, there might be advantages for him leaving. I haven't found those yet. If you see him moving forward past this point, that is why. That's why that discrepancy exists. I'm just showing you the Volo ability in the same way I showed you the Hag ability, because he's the eye exchanger. What do you know about mind flayers?
Why, I'm practically an expert. They've tentacles, you know. Quite shocking. The druid Halson had some kind of mind flare specimen in a jar in his quarters. A replica, no doubt, but truly fascinating to see up close.
And their parasites. Do you know anything about them?
As a matter of fact, I do. But why do you?
Not only have I encountered a mind flayer, I've killed one.
That can't be.
I killed a mind flayer in its lair, aboard a nautiloid.
You're either an excellent storyteller, or you've experienced something quite exceptional. Tell me, have you noticed any residual psionic malaise since the alleged encounter?
No, haven't noticed anything like that.
Are you familiar with the process of theromorphosis? That is what happens when a mind flare parasite infects a living host.
Theromorphosis. I'm listening.
I can't attest to the specifics, but I do know that not long after insertion, the host, that's you, turns into a mind flayer. As there's not a tentacle on your head, I can only assume you haven't been infected.
Okay, this is the last chance we have not to tell him that we've been infected. But again, for the video purposes, we will go ahead and do so.
If what you say were true, you'd be a mind flayer by now. You? Infected by a mind flayer? Ridiculous. Isn't it?
Of course. Utterly ridiculous.
Still, there'd be no harm in me taking a teensy look, would there? I know all the signs. If I just peer in your eye, I could quickly... Oh, my dear, sweet gods!
Quit this shouting. Can you help?
I mean, yes. I suppose I can. I'll need to research the particulars, however. Give me a bit of time, and I'll have this little issue sorted.
If you're squeamish at all, you may wish to skip ahead. Has your research turned up anything that might help with this parasite problem?
My research turned up a rather brilliant technique that seems quite actionable. It's not too deep, just behind the orbital socket. I could attempt an extraction. I've a needle in my tunic, after all.
Volo, I hate to tell you, that's not a needle. I think I'd rather get a second opinion.
You won't find a more learned opinion on this matter, I assure you.
Fine, do it!
Volo carefully holds one of your eyes open and begins to prod uncertainly with the needle.
Do you have the faintest idea what you're doing?
Don't fidget. The needle must slip behind your eye, not through it.
The needle finds the gap between eyeball and socket. Volo frowns and begins to push.
Clench your fists.
Pain shoots through your body as the needle snags on your optic nerve.
I think I have it!
The needle seesaws back and forth, plucking the nerve like a harp string.
Oh, bother. There's some obstacle in the way. I shall need a more robust implement.
That obstacle is my eye. Stop at once.
Stop? Now?
No, keep going.
Wise.
Volo carefully withdraws the needle from your eye. Then, reaching into his bag, he produces an ice pick.
Eye the implement, but allow him to proceed.
Volo slowly brings the ice pick closer to your eye.
Now, don't move.
Hold your breath.
Cold metal presses against the skin beneath your brow. And then, tap, tap, stab.
Do you feel that? Ha! I think we have the blighter on the run. I agree. It's a feisty critter. Just a little further.
Volo tears the pick from your brain with a violent jerk. Your eye plops down into the mud.
Drat.
He pauses, looks down at your eye, and recoils slightly as it sinks into the mud.
There appears to be an amount of cosmetic damage.
I can't seem to see through one of my eyes.
Yes, quite. Well, there is some mild trauma. I can't help but feel partly responsible. Perhaps there is something more I can do.
You're giving me candy?
Take this. A far superior relic to that old jelly you were chained to. Try it on for size. And, it was very nice to have met you. I'm sure you'll sort out your little brain problem one way or another. Far away from here, if you've a heart. Terribly sorry, my friend. Ta!
As Volo freaks out and attempts to figure out how to leave camp, we have obtained... Well, first we have the temporary ability, Bleeding Eye, which I guess we'll kick off in a little bit. There we go. Your eye stings from Volo's experiment. Disadvantage on perception checks. That only lasts for a little while. We've already lost it. Volo's Ursat's Eye. The damage wrought upon your ocular nerve during Volo's experiment is undone, allowing you to see invisible creatures. Yeah, that's actually the first time I saw all of that animation. That was kind of grisly. Cool.
Welcome to the League of the Lone Eye, my friend. Not to minimize the pain of Volo's poking and prodding, but I promise, you'll be used to the prosthesis in no time. Besides, I find it gives one an air of mystique. No one's more intriguing than a man with one eye.
Hello, sweetness. I'm still waiting for someone with the spare eye.
I promised I'd be back. Don't worry. I have things under control. For now. I see you've been using the powers the tadpole gives you. Good. But things haven't gone as you expected. You hoped a druid as powerful as Halsin might be able to remove your tadpole, but he couldn't. You're desperate to be rid of it. Understandable. But you're looking for solutions in the wrong places.
Halsin mentioned that these tadpoles have been modified with magic.
Yes. Halsin is correct. Your parasite is unusual. It is wrapped in magic that prevents its removal. Until the source of the tadpole's magic is destroyed, any attempt to remove it will kill you. You were lucky that Halsin knew this. His instincts are right. The parasites are merely a symptom of a greater sickness in Faerun.
How do you know so much about these tadpoles?
I have kept a careful watch on the movements of the cult. Though the Absolute's aims are not yet clear to me, its methods are. These parasites are more than illithid spawn. They are vessels for control. The infected hear the voice of the Absolute and believe it to be a god. You witnessed it yourself with Priestess Glut. That is how the cult of the Absolute is spreading. The highest of their rank, the True Souls, carry a tadpole just like yours. It is how they receive their orders. It is what makes them obey. When the order to transform is given, it will not be a matter of days. They will be mind flayers in an instant. Were it not for my protection, so would you.
How is it that you protect me?
I have powers of my own. Unique powers. But know that we are alike. Just like you, I was infected with a mind flayer parasite. Just like you, I seek to be free of it. I've been trying to escape from this evil for a long time. Once, I almost succeeded. Now, through you, I've been given a new chance. You can go where I cannot, and I can protect you from that evil. If we work together, we may turn this around. Hells. They need me. I have to go.
Is there anything I can do to help you?
No. I can handle this. For now. The power I use to protect you, I stole it from someone. They want it back. I will hold them off for as long as I can, but sooner or later I will be worn down. You must discover the source of the magic that controls the parasites before that happens. The cultists are gathering at Moonrise Towers. Use the powers your parasite gives you to convince them you are one of them. And when you find the source of their magic, destroy it. Go. Our freedom depends on it.
Let's see what our companions have to say about our latest dream.
I had another visit from that dream figure. I take it you did too. It claims that if we infiltrate the heart of the cult that's giving out these parasites, we'll find the answers we're looking for. It gave me another gift, too. Just like it did the first time it appeared. Rather generous, if you ask me.
Seems straightforward to me. We want to infiltrate Moonrise Towers. These tadpole gifts might be the best way to do it.
And while we're at it, we can see how many more of these little worms we can harvest. Now, was there anything else?
What do you think is waiting for us at Moonrise Towers?
Who knows? Drow? Mind flayers? Death? Hopefully not ours. But maybe answers. If we can convince the right people to talk.
Another visit from the Golden Paladin. It said we'll get the answers we need about the tadpole if we infiltrate the cult.
We need to infiltrate Moonrise Towers, don't we? Exploring the tadpole's potential might make that easier.
It's a fair point. I just don't want to take a short-term boon. I want to win this whole thing. To finish off the cult. To get this tadpole out. To stay sane the whole time.
I had another dream last night. The visitor came to me and ordered me to penetrate the heart of the very cult that's spreading the infection. It gave me a tadpole gift too, just like it did the first time it appeared. I suppose it hoped this would help. At first, I thought we should avoid these gifts no matter what advantage we gain. And yet, I can't help recall the words of my father. The best plan is the one that works. These powers could be enough to edge us towards victory.
We need these powers to infiltrate the cult. This is the plan that works.
Very well. If it's mind games these parasites wish to play, we'll play. And we'll win.
What was it like being the son of the Grand Duke?
Not so enchanting as you'd think. The Portiers, the Caldwells, they were the blue bloods hosting the fancy balls and drinking from gold goblets. Father's the son of a blacksmith, born with barely a coin in the coffers. He made a name for himself among the Flaming Fist, brave as Baldur and stubborn as a deep Rothay, daring, outspoken, but hardly posh. I spent more time dueling with father than I did rubbing elbows with lords. Not to say I didn't develop a taste for good wine and the talent for courtly dance.
And now you're the Blade of Frontiers. Quite a change, don't you think?
Yes and no. Father taught me the 4 pillars of power. Courage, insight, strategy, justice. He reckoned I'd follow in his footsteps. First as a fist marshal, then as a duke. Vanquish evil, maintain order, save the world. But a duke makes bedfellows with more monsters than he slays. Father called it diplomacy. I called it hypocrisy. In the frontiers, there is no posturing, no diplomacy. I slay monsters, I don't consort with them. Even if I might look like one.
You don't consort with one. Then how do you explain Ms. Zora? That's a little bit more than consorting.
I've been dreaming of our enigmatic visitor again. She told me our purpose was to take on this cult of the Absolute, to infiltrate its ranks and bring it down from the inside. She even offered me greater powers, the result of some manipulation of the tadpole's psionic abilities. Given the magnitude of what we're up against, I see no harm in considering the benefit this offer might afford us. Could be the only way to reach this source in one piece.
You're right. We must use every means at our disposal, even unsavory ones.
As existential evils go, the Absolute certainly seems an adversary worth halting in its tracks. Any opportunities for us to indulge our tadpole's capabilities are hardly on the same scale. Trifles, when one considers the bigger picture.
I don't agree with you often, Gale, but just this once.
I had another dream. Which, I suppose, means you did as well. Whoever's reaching out to us truly does seem opposed to the Absolute, but wants us to embrace the tadpole. Venture right into the heart of the cult. Perhaps we truly have a secret protector. Or we're walking into a trap.
Tell me more about the Mother Superior.
I'm not sure what else I can say, at least until I can remember more. She taught me, trained me, punished me. Often, I think I feel her influence when the wound pains me. Not even memories, just glimpses, impressions. Perhaps the wound is her doing, something Lady Shah bid her to do. I don't know.
You seem intrigued when Halsin mentioned Dark Justiciar before.
Wouldn't you be in my place? If there's even the slightest chance that Shah worshippers remain within our reach, we should try and find them. Even if they're all long gone, and that seems quite likely from what we know, who knows what they may have left behind for us to use? My people are nothing if not resourceful.
I found this idol of Shar. Here, perhaps you might want it.
You thought of me? Thank you. It's beautiful. I'll find a place of honor for it and camp. Nobody's ever given me anything before. What do I owe you in return?
Gold and riches will do nicely. Empty out that purse.
But kind sir, I am but a humble cleric. All I have belongs to my goddess. I'm afraid my gratitude is all I have to offer. I wonder... perhaps this is connected to the Dark Justiciars. This is no coincidence, I'm sure of it. I need to keep an eye out for more signs. Learn more about the Justiciars' presence in these lands. It could be important.
If Dark Justiciars were once a power around here, all signs suggest that time has long passed.
All signs we've encountered so far, perhaps. I'll be keeping my eyes peeled going forward.
Alright, that dialogue, there'll be some jumping around because she keeps repeating the same lines about she wishes she'd be a Dark Justiciar. So, I'll be cutting those out. If there's jumps, that's why.
Another dream. Another order from that dubious visitor. It announced that we will find the answers we seek in the Absolute Cultist's lair, and offered another generous gift. A persuasive creature. It tempts us with power, expresses its admiration, its adoration. Avert your eyes whenever it appears, and do not avail yourself of this new power, no matter how alluring. You've no idea what damage it could do to us, how far into illithid madness it could drag us.
We can use this skill to manipulate these cultists. We'd be fools to refuse it.
Battles are won with swords, not mind games born of brainworms. The ones we fight with these cultists will be no different. And there will come a battle, of that I'm most certain. The one truth that fell out of the dream figure's cankered lips.
These dreams linger in my memory. Do you think that strange figure will come back?
It is a certainty. I had assumed our parasite served a Geich elder.
but I believe they serve a greater master still.
The Absolute is this master. I'm sure of it.
Perhaps. Absolute may be a mere pseudonym behind which this master hides. Whatever this voice, whomever this master, it dominates dreams and unites minds.
Back in the Underdark at the Arcane Tower. You can get more approval from Lae'zel if you talk to her with these in your inventory at I'm showing you this version because there's more animation.
The disc appears in your mind's eye. Lae'zel sees it too, and considers the vision.
Tirsu markings. Ancient. I recognize them, but I can't make sense. No. Wait. The texts are enciphered, but I've solved the pattern. It's a story. About Orpheus.
Your head buzzes in concert with Lae'zel's, but it hardly matters. Even without the connection, you'd recognize her discomfort.
Tirsu, you said. What does that mean?
Githyanki writing. Every word a wheel, every letter a spoke. The most powerful texts are engraved in slate. Some so ancient, only the most erudite Gish can read them.
Who's Orpheus?
A traitor. A dead one. This text is heresy. I can hardly bear to read it, let alone speak it.
You'll bear it just fine. Tell me what it says.
Very well. I will read it to you. The Prince of the Comet, Part 1. So it was that we were free from Gaich shackles and turned our blades on each other. The heavens were shattered, and one great empire was divided in two. Gith traveled to the Hells to broker help for her people, her cause. Vlaakith would have you believe Mother Gith proclaimed her our queen. Lies. Gith made no such proclamation. Vlaakith seized the empire against the Mother's wishes. But Gith had nurtured a son, Orpheus, Prince of the Comet, the true heir. He knew Vlaakith's treachery. Orpheus rallied Gith's honor guard and declared the throne for himself. The War of the Comet had begun. Disregard this drivel. Gith declared Vlaakith queen of the Empire, and her own son defied her. Orpheus would have ceded control to the Gaich.
And if it's true, it sounds like Vlaakith betrayed Gith and seized the throne.
She did nothing of the sort. Thank your good fortunes I'm a tolerant woman, or I'd have sliced off a few toes for suggesting it.
Yes, thank you. As far as Gale goes, we'll be feeding him the Jagged Spear, which was an item that we can find next to Liam, prisoner in the Goblin Fortress. I believe that these are a limited number of quests. You can see here that in this particular session, he's left the party and won't be coming back because we refused to give him an item. I was just testing some things out. He'll be a part of our regular playthrough. But we can take a look and see it says here, procure him a third magical item. Because this is a word rather than a numeric, I'm inclined to believe that this is probably a limited number of times we have to feed him. You have to think of it from a development point of view. If it was a numeric, then you could just tick the counter or variable up by 1, so say 4th, 5th, 6th, and even then ordinals can be kind of slightly more problematic because you don't go 3rd, right? You say 3rd, 11th. So there's a little bit more than that if you have to use ordinals, which 3rd is. And in proper English, syntactically, you spell out the whole word when you're counting below a certain number. Anyways, from a development point of view, the fact that it has the whole word 3rd written out leads me to believe that this is a limited number of times we have to feed him. So I'm okay about just giving him some things that I will probably never need to use in any sort of build later on. But of course, if you refuse to give him items, I guess he just leaves. I loaded a save. Let's see what he has to say if we just go ahead and hand him an item.
What's on your mind? Apart from finding me an artifact to consume, which I assume you're pursuing with the appropriate urgency.
I think I have a magical artifact you'll be interested in.
That is most gratifying to hear. May I?
Give Gale a magic artifact. Now, at this point, I had hit the X button and he left the party. Let's go ahead and give him the Jagged Spear. Also, if you try to give him more than one at a time, it counts as you not giving him anything.
Thank you. Good gods. It hardly has any effect. Oh, Mistra, have mercy on us all. Listen, I need to speak to you, to all of you. It would be unconscionable of me to remain silent.
As you can see, since we have plot development and dialogue to go with it, I can't see this being an infinite magic item dump. This better be good. We wasted a small fortune on you already.
And the waste it might have been. You have to know who I was. You have to know who I really am. What I am is a walking shadow of the promise I once held. I'm what one might call a wizard prodigy, who from an early age could not only control the weave, but compose it, much like a musician or a poet. Such was my skill that it earned me the attention of the mother of magic herself, the Lady of Mysteries, the goddess Mistra. She revealed herself to me and she became my teacher. In time, she became my muse, and later even my lover.
Bold. Few would dare to reduce a goddess to their muse.
I am, after all, the villain of the tale. We enjoyed each other's company. Body, mind, and soul. But even so, I desired more. You see, no matter how powerful a wizard we mortals can become, we never scratch more than the surface of the weave. Mistra keeps us in check. There are boundaries she doesn't let us cross, yet every time I was with her, I stood on the precipice, gazing into the wonders that lay beyond. I sought to cross her boundaries.
You thought you knew better than Mistra. You're more a fool than I thought.
Quite. I tried to convince her. I pouted. I pleaded. I swore my ambition was only to serve her better. But she only smiled and told me to be contented. But inconceivable as it seems to me now, I shared a bed with a goddess, and yet I wasn't satisfied. So I sought to prove myself worthy to her instead. We come now to the crux of my folly. Shall I share the story behind it, or would you rather head straight to its sordid finale?
I personally don't care, but go ahead. Tell me all.
Very well. Here goes. Once upon a very long time ago, a mighty lord lived in a tower. A flying tower, to be precise. I'll save his history for another time, but the gist of it is that he sought to usurp the goddess of magic so that he could become a god himself. And he almost managed, but not quite, and his entire empire, Netheril, came crashing down around him as he turned to stone. The magic that was unleashed that day was phenomenal, roiling like the prime chaos that outdates creation. Even the weave itself could not withstand the onslaught. It fractured, then shattered, and all magic was lost to the mortal realms, until the day Mistra returned. She restored the weave, reuniting all its scattered shards. Or so I thought. Until, in the course of my studies, I learned of a book. A Netherese tome in which a piece of the fractured weave had been sealed beyond her reach. What if, I thought, what if, after all this time, I could return this lost part of herself to the goddess?
I guess you ruled out flowers and chocolates altogether then.
You know me. My gestures can never be grand enough. I was certain that this deed of raw power, draped in romance, would convince Mistra to take me by the hand and welcome me into her hitherto forbidden domains. I was mistaken. I obtained the fabled book and took it into my study. As for what happened next... Here. Place your hand over my heart. Let me show you.
You feel the tadpole quiver as you realize Gale is letting you in. Into the dark. You've seen this before. The book. The black tendrils of chaos weave that lash out and overtake you. The dread is as real as the first time. The oppression just as unbearable.
What is it? What do you see?
How are you still alive?
Thankfully, the moment I absorbed the fragment wasn't enough to kill me outright. It was only the beginning. This Netherese blight, this orb, for lack of a better word, is balled up inside my chest. And it needs to be fed. As long as I absorb traces of the weave from potent enough sources, it remains quiet. Were it ever to fully destabilize, however.
You will die.
Rather worse, actually. I will erupt. I don't know the exact magnitude of the eruption, but given my studies of Netherese magic, I'd say even a fragment as small as the one I carry, it'd level a city the size of Waterdeep.
You thrice-damned rotten bastard! You've been the greatest threat to our lives all this time!
I swear to you I wasn't. But I've no choice but to admit I am now. Perhaps it would be best if I leave and put as much distance between us as I can before the orb erupts.
Unbelievable. Did you ever think what would happen if the tadpole got the better of you?
Every waking moment. Every dreaming moment, too. But there was no way out. All of this. It must feel like a betrayal. Say the word, and we'll part ways.
If we were to part ways, where would you go?
Once I'd step out of the protective aura of the artifact, it wouldn't be long before the Absolute overtakes me. I'd never let that happen, so I'd aim for a swift end. I would consume some midnight tears and venture as deep into the Underdark as I possibly could, till they cloud my eyes forever. With a bit of luck, I'd manage to make it to a mind flare colony, so that when the orb erupts, one loud, last song of vengeance would reverberate through the dark. Wouldn't be a heroic end, but coarsely poetic enough in its justice.
I would hear what the others say first.
You'd have us debate that Netherese Jack-in-the-Box should be a blip on the horizon by now.
I agree. Let us be rid of this menace.
I only said I'd hear you, not that I'd listen to you. We've come this far together, we'll continue on together. That is how it will be.
That is a great relief. Oh, a great relief indeed. You truly are a soul that steals my own. From all my new rallied heart, I thank you. I thank you all. I understand if you stand against me. I'm humbled if you stand with me. Either way, I will do my best not to let you down. I stand at a precipice, but if you do not give up hope, neither shall I. I'll fight. I'll resist as long as I can. Now, even I am tired of the sound of my own voice. Let us venture forth.
Although I have nothing against Gale, I feel like it would have been peak comedy to allow me to punch him in the face while he's doing his self-aggrandizing moment there. I just feel like I should have a punch icon at every moment. Not attack battle, just punch the person. After that next plot point, Gale has more to say.
How can I help?
I was wondering about that mighty lord you told me about in your story.
Ah, yes. Karsus. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistral, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like to be a god, to know yourself, to be untouchable, to be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel, and with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistral sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral, the end of Karsus, and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly.
Why is it that in all these fantasy realms, ancient stuff is always better than what we have now? You have to admire the man's ambition. He very nearly succeeded.
If it takes the death of a god to stop you, I'd say your ambition has gotten somewhat out of hand. Not that I'm one to talk, of course. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mistra, but to prove my love for her. I tried to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go.
If you ever feel the Netherese magic overtaking you, what will you do?
If it should ever come to that, if I ever know I am no longer able to stop it, I will do anything I can to ensure no one but me pays for my mistakes. I will find the remotest place on the surface of Faerun, or perhaps far below in the depths of the Underdark. I will await that death, alone. I promise I will not betray your trust. You kept me by your side despite the menace that I am. If worst comes to worst, I will be long gone before the curtain falls.
Gale, you should know by now that we're all menaces here. Let's go ahead and show what happens if you don't revive Gale.
A hand? Anyone?
Slap the hand.
Ow! Perhaps I should have clarified? A helping hand? Anyone?
Grab the hand and pull. Still managed to fail. In fact, I don't even have inspiration at this time.
Harder! Come on, put your back into it!
Pull again, as hard as you can.
No! I'm slipping away! I'll perish in here! I'll perish.
Okay, that's not quite the ending to Gale I had in mind, because I don't think anything happens as a result of this. Let's try that again.
Lloyd as well.
You don't trust this man. Draw your weapon.
Whoa! Easy does it. You really, really don't want to do that. Not a threat. Just an observation.
And why would I really, really not want to attack you?
10 years of bad luck if you kill a wizard. Why take the risk?
I'll take my chances.
And you leave me no choice but to answer your folly with fury.
Moving ahead.
monster forms inside us, and you think to be idle. I knew your kind to be fragile, but I didn't foresee the severity. Be quick about your rest. We must locate a creche.
We need to pace ourselves. Don't you know an exhausted warrior is an ineffective one?
A thick-headed notion in a complex circumstance. Do you suppose the parasites inside us dare to rest? That the Gale do not still pursue us with each peal of the bell? Take your rest. I will stand watch. Should a single tentacle split your skull, I will not hesitate to end you.
I appreciate your concern.
Another step forward.
Chahi! Come closer.
Why? Expecting to see something?
It is what I do not see that concerns me. Dry skin, clear eyes, stolid bearing. You do not suffer. You flourish. Disturbing.
How much longer before we start noticing symptoms?
We should feel them now. Our bones should ache, our mouths should bleed. Yet we thrive. It is madness. Keep your rest short. Time is not our ally.
And after the third long rest,
You don't sleep well, flitting between dreams and nightmares. Maybe you wake up because you know something is wrong, or maybe you just get lucky.
Shit.
Asterion, how many times have I told you? This is a mostly family-friendly channel.
No, it's not what it looks like. I swear. I wasn't going to hurt you. I just needed, well, blood.
There, in the dim firelight, you see him for what he really is. A vampire, a slave to sanguine hunger.
How long since you killed someone? Days? Hours?
I've never killed anyone. Well, not for food. I feed on animals. Boars. Deer. Kobolds. Whatever I can get. But it's not enough. Not if I have to fight. I feel so weak. If I just had a little blood, I could think clearer, fight better. Please.
Push into his mind, searching for the truth.
What's this? What's happening?
Your mind lurches, reeling suddenly as if bitten. His mind opens up, revealing cracked and quivering memories. At their heart, you see dark eyes commanding you to feed. You open your mouth and bite down, not into a tender neck, but into the twisting body of a rat, the only thing your master lets you eat.
You ate animals because you were forced to, not because you wanted to.
Yes, I ate whatever disgusting vermin my master picked, so you can see why I'm slow to trust you. But I do trust you. And you can trust me.
Alright, fine. Let's say I believe you. Now what?
Thank you. Do you think you could trust me just a little further? I only need a taste. I swear.
Alright, but go too far and I'll drive a stake through your chest.
Of course. I shall be gentle as a babe. Let's make ourselves comfortable, shall we?
It's like a shard of ice into your neck. A quick, sharp pain that fades to throbbing numbness. Your breath catches, your pulse quickens.
We're going to let him continue, because you get better dialogue this way.
You lean into him, losing yourself. You can feel your blood racing, coursing through both your bodies. A gentle, numb feeling starts to spread.
Relax. Let yourself drift away.
You feel a little cold, but that's all. There's no more pain, no more fear, no more struggle. It's all over.
Oh no. Something terrible's happened.
Our character is now dead, so we need to revive him. Usually Zal. I think Harlike dislikes it when you revive.
Well counted. I recommend keeping my distance for a moment.
And as you can see, Gale and Will appreciate this.
By doom and dusk, I strike thy name from the archives. Rise.
Now, when confronting Asterion, Will and Gale will get -1 if you say that you trust him. The others actually don't seem to care. I don't think it's a male thing, because as far as I know, these two will allow themselves to be romanced by a male player character. I think it's just the fact that those are more good aligned characters.
You're here? Thank goodness. I was worried about you. You looked a little ill last night, but you've certainly recovered. God damn it! I understand you're upset, but let's not get carried away.
Oh, I feel much better now.
Thank goodness for that. And I do apologize for last night. I may have gotten a little, overexcited. What do you say? Can we let bygones be bygones?
And the next time you get hungry, who will you bite then?
No innocence. You have my word. Only villains that we need to kill anyway. After all, you know what I am now. I can fight with all my weapons, teeth included. And if I happen to drain the occasional bandit during a fight, what's the harm? They're just as dead.
Sounds good. Glad we could agree.
As am I. I'm starting to feel a little peckish already.
We can get more approval by not dying to Asterion, and then when we talk to him, your teammates, the ones you've got partied with you, will approach Asterion with you, and then you can say, "We trust Asterion," getting you a +5.
Need something?
I met a monster hunter in the swamp. He's not after you, is he?
Excuse me? Not every monster hunter we stumble across is trying to kill me. Then again, not exactly keeping a low profile out here. Fine, I'll bite. What did he look like?
He was a hulking dragonborn, red scales, fire breath. Very impressive.
That's interesting. But not the kind of person I'd expect to be hunting me. Still, it's wise to keep our eyes open. I'm hardly the only monster around here.
Editing that out because it just recycles dialogue. I thought vampires couldn't walk into homes without an invitation.
We can't. And yet I cross the threshold like moonlight through leaves. This worm is a powerful little beast, isn't it?
That would explain why he's so A pearl worm. Sounds like you're enjoying it.
What's not to enjoy? I can walk in sunlight, trespass upon any home, manipulate minds. I'm the most powerful vampire in the realms. Granted, the looming doom is an issue, but why not enjoy the benefits while we can?
How does someone become a vampire exactly?
It's simple. Just find a vampire that will drink your blood and turn you into a vampire spawn. Their obedient puppet. In theory, the next step is to drink their blood. Once you've done that, you're free and a true vampire.
So, they bite you, you bite them.
Yes and no. The problem is, once you're a vampire spawn, they completely control you. They have to allow you to bite them. And why would they do that? Vampires are power-hungry creatures. They won't lose a servant to create a competitor. Trust me, it doesn't happen.
Tell me about your history.
Why do you insist on exhuming the past? I was a slave. A vampire spawn. Kept by the Tsar family. Perhaps I still am. I was never able to resist their commands. But now, I've been conveniently lost. They won't ever control me again.
While we're at it, now that we finally revealed officially that Asterion's a vampire, when he bites your party members, only 2 of them have special reactions, the rest just sort of tell him off. Apparently he has no face right now.
It's hot! God, it's burning!
What the hell did you expect, Asterion? Come on!
So I found this out when I was script writing, and we went to the Kuatoa, and I chose to sacrifice Asterion just because. Even though I hadn't revealed that he was a vampire yet, he did try to bite Karlach as part of his AI routine, and this had happened. Alright, but you can't drink people's blood from now on.
What? Look, I swear I won't come after yours. But anyone's? You know what I am now. I can fight with all my weapons. Teeth included. And if I happen to drain the occasional bandit during a fight, what's the harm? They're just as dead.
No, you can't feed on people. Animals only.
What? Oh, you're joking. Although, what do you consider an animal? I mean, elves and humans are obviously out, but the goblins, kobolds, gnomes?
Nothing we can have a conversation with.
In that case, I'll restrict myself to animals and only the dullest goblins.
That's not actually going to be a part of our, canon run-through. I was just showing you those dialogue options. Now we'll go ahead and immediately turn around and bite Gale.
Your blood tastes like bile. What is wrong with you?
Oh, serves you right. Next time, ask before you bite.
We get a poison as our condition.
There you are. I was just thinking about you. And that delicious moment we shared the other night.
Delicious? You killed me.
And I am deeply sorry. I was overeager, but can you blame me? You were my first. In all these years, I've only ever fed on beasts. Drinking the blood of thinking creatures is a different thing entirely. You were delectable. And now I can't help but wonder how the others taste.
They might not be as open to the idea as I was.
Alas. It doesn't hurt to ponder the question, though. Take Gale, for example. He strikes me as someone whose blood is rich, refined, like well-aged brandy. But the Gith, What in the hells would she taste like?
Something exotic, surely. An Omnan liquor.
Oh. Well, that sounds very appealing. I'm almost convinced.
Could I convince you to kill someone less useful?
No one's getting killed, I swear. We're just two friends talking. So, in the spirit of theoretical questions, if you had to take a bite from one of them, who would it be?
Are you really asking which of our companions I'd eat?
Oh, no. No. Don't be disgusting. I just mean a sip of their blood. No mastication required.
I'd risk Karlach.
A brave choice. Although, the more I think on it, the hungrier I get. I better go find something I can actually get my teeth into.
Anything that keeps you away from our necks.
Don't tempt me, darling.
Psst. Hey, soldier. You aren't asleep, are you? I'm buzzing, honestly. I couldn't wait to talk to you. Isn't it mad? How good life is.
I admire your optimism, but is it that good?
Yes! Soldier, you're saving me. Every time you speak my name, fight beside me, share what's yours, I'm reminded that I'm alive. Properly alive. And free. Oh, gods, I want to ride you till you see stars.
Sorry, but I'm not interested in you that way.
Sorry if I was a little forward. 10 years in Avernus, and I guess I've forgotten whatever manners I might have had. Don't hold it against me. Unless you want to.
The dog holds a well-chewed ball in his mouth.
Hand that over.
All right. It's only fair that you enjoy it too. But if you feel like throwing it, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Where is the ball? It just plonked there. Fetch quest. Play fetch with Scratch, the best boy in the realms.
You carry a Githyanki relic. I will have an explanation, or your head.
Walk away. Now. I won't warn you again.
Relic. This is about that artifact, isn't it?
That artifact is an heirloom of my people. Likely she spilled Githyanki blood in order to steal it. This cannot stand.
Heirloom? Plunder from some conquered realm, more like. This artifact is the only thing keeping us from becoming slaves to our parasites. Be glad I have it.
What's going on? Why are you two arguing?
Lae'zel thinks I have something important to her people. She's deluded, clear.
Lies. She carries an heirloom of my people. I must know why.
I agree with Shadowheart. The artifact is protecting us. We need it with us.
You hear that, Lae'zel? It's called common sense.
Tisk. You seek reason in dishonor.
Stop this. No sense in us fighting each other.
Incorrect. Judicious bloodletting settles feuds and roots out the weak, the deceitful.
Do you hear this, tribe? Our lives are at stake, and she wants us to turn on each other.
No others. Just you and me.
So, any idea on how we settle this?
The bad blood must be purged. A duel, come first light.
You mean I'd get to prove you wrong and thrash you? I love it. Get some rest, Lae'zel. You'll need it.
Shadowheart, your Sharan wound looks like crap.
You had every chance to look the other way. But here we are. You chose this.
Spare me the justifications, coward.
If anyone asks, I'll say you were transforming. Don't expect to be mourned.
Shadowheart, stop. You don't have to do this.
She's a liability. It's the artifact we need, not her.
Let me up, and I'll show you.
Cooperate, Lae'zel. For your own sake.
Surrender? A disgusting notion.
You had better warm to that notion very rapidly, or your journey ends here. We needn't be enemies. There's plenty of those to go around already.
What would you have? That we be friends?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But imagine what we might achieve if we channeled some of that hostility back at our real foes, instead of each other. They wouldn't stand a chance.
Maybe it'll bring us closer.
I'll say one thing for our troop. We're not short on drama. I'm glad Shadowheart and Lae'zel settled their differences peacefully. Eventually.
What do you make of having a vampire in our camp?
I know what it is to hunger. And I know what it takes to keep that hunger under control. He's done that so far, despite his condition. So long as he sates his appetite elsewhere, I'm happy to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I hope that's the end of this silly quarrel. They'll have no energy for battling our enemies if Lae'zel and Shadowheart are too busy squabbling among themselves.
He has nothing to say about Asterion.
Speak.
About your quarrel with Shadowheart.
It is over where I am concerned.
Can I trust you not to cause more trouble?
I will not be bearing the burden of the half-elf's deceit. She was the source of strife. I was the end of it. I suggest you turn your eye of judgment to her.
I really thought Shadowheart and Lae'zel might fight to the death over that artifact. A pity. It would have made for a fine night's entertainment.
Very glad Shadowheart and Lae'zel settled things without letting any blood. I would have enjoyed the spectacle, but not losing either one of those lunatics.
What's it been like not to touch anyone for such a long time?
Sad. I couldn't let myself feel sad in the Hells. Letting my guard down would have been a death sentence. And letting, say, a Cambion near me would have been disastrous. I thought it best to just keep my distance. But loneliness that deep gets into the marrow. Now that I'm here, among friends, I can feel it burning out of me. Little by little, step by step.
I don't think there'll be any more trouble between Lae'zel and I, if you were wondering. We can all sleep easier now. Well, apart from all the rest.
That's good. I'd rather keep things friendly between all of us.
You have an interesting definition of friendly, but yes.
Food, hungry.
I have food. Would you like it?
Want bite?
Come on then. Take it.
Eat, friend.
What a delectable little pet.
No! Run!
Oh, now look. You've scared off the little snack.
Blood hurts.
You're hurt. Let me see.
Look. Cut.
It's barely a scratch. You'll be fine.
Good. Strong.
How did this happen?
Teeth. Claws. Bigger.
You fought something bigger than you. Why?
Strong. Fight. Win.
And? Did you kill any?
Kill? No. Strong. Show you.
Adorable. Let me know when it brings you something fresh.
Receive the inspiration Outlander Cub Tamer.
Home. Friend. Nice. No bite.
What's on your mind?
It doesn't look like there's any conversations about that, so let's go ahead and camp for now. Hurry towards the sound. What's going on? I thought something was wrong.
Just a bad dream. It's all right.
Goblins had me in a cage. Poked me with pointy sticks.
Hush now, it was just a nightmare. We're safe here, with Master. He'll settle in. Give it a little time.
Did you call me Master just now?
I suppose I did. You've been good to us. To both of us. Gonwick would be happy I'm with you, I think.
Like it here. Warm fire. Scratch reminds me of Big Brother.
Wait, did you say you have a brother?
Used to. Mother ate him.
Charming. Well, you're both welcome here.
Thank you.
The dog is unable to speak through the small bag he holds in his mouth.
What you've got there, Scratch?
I don't know. Maybe you can tell me. All I know is I thought of you when I saw it.
I'm sorry about what happened to your master.
Master? Friend? I stayed with him until I knew he was gone. I'll never forget him. But I'm glad to have met you.
Hello. You are not food. You are friend.
You like it here, huh?
Nice here. The caves smell like rotting meat. Goblin cat smells like goblins.
Looks like I'm stuck with you.
Yes. Fun. Ooh, more.
You arrive at the Goblin Village without having spoken to Shadowheart.
Your vision clouds, leaving you in a dark, featureless shadowscape. Nothingness in every direction. You feel energy pulsing from the artifact, lifting the pain from you, pushing the voice away.
My power grows. My forces gather. The reckoning draws.
I imagine you must have questions. We should talk. You're lucky I managed to catch up with you when I did. We're both lucky, in fact.
I don't know what just happened, but keep away from me.
Hear me out. Your life depends on it. We've both got the same problem, though only I might have the solution. I don't know how, but this artifact is protecting me from whoever controls our parasites. You won't get much farther without it shielding you. Trust me. You need me at your side.
Sounds like it's that artifact I need, not you.
It stays with me. I'll kill to protect it. Already have.
Fine, but where do I fit into this?
The artifact is being hunted, and so I'm being hunted. The Absolute Forces want it, Githyanki Raiders want it.
So it is you the Githyanki come for. This artifact is valuable. The Knights will be relentless in their pursuit.
I can't afford to get rid of it, but I can't protect it alone either. I'm lucky to have made it this far.
I'll take my chances without you. Clear off.
There's no chances without me. Only certain death, or worse. I'll wait here until you come to your senses. For both our sakes, I hope that happens very soon.